What if one promise, made by a teenager trying to make his dad happy, caused the bloodiest war in human history? What if the most honorable man who ever lived was also the one who made everything go wrong? This is the story of Bhishma. Our story begins on the banks of the Ganges, where King Shantanu of Hastinapur has already lived through one devastating love story. His first wife, the goddess Ganga herself, drowned 7 of their children as part of a celestial curse. The 8th child she spared, Devavrata, a boy so brilliant, so skilled in warfare, so deeply righteous that the kingdom celebrated him as the perfect heir. He mastered every weapon. He studied under the warrior sage Parashurama himself. There was no one in the kingdom who doubted that Devavrata would become the greatest king Hastinapur had ever seen. Then Shantanu fell in love again. Satyavati, a fisherman's daughter. Beautiful. Shantanu was obsessed, but her father had a condition. Only Satyavati's sons could inherit the throne, not Devavrata. Shantanu couldn't do that to his firstborn. He went home in silence, heartbroken. He stopped eating, stopped laughing. He sat on his throne, like a man already dead. But Devavrata noticed his father's misery. He investigated, learned the truth, and marched straight to the fisherman. "I renounce my claim to the throne," he declared. "Satyavati's sons will be kings." But the fisherman pushed further. "Even if you step aside, your children could challenge my grandchildren." And here is the moment that changed everything. Devavrata swore he would never marry, never father children, remain celibate for life. The gods gasped. Flowers rained from the sky. From that day, he was called Bhishma, the one who took the terrible vow. His grateful father gave him a boon. Bhishma could choose the moment of his own death. In trying to reward sacrifice, Shantanu accidentally cursed his son with an impossibly long life, watching everything he loved fall apart. Satyavati's sons were weak kings who died young. Bhishma was left as guardian of Hastinapur, bound by his vow never to rule, only to serve whoever sat on the throne. Generation after generation, he watched lesser men inherit the power he gave away. He watched the kingdom split between the Pandavas and the Kauravas, watched Duryodhana grow cruel and power-hungry, watched Draupadi get dragged by her hair into open court and humiliated while a room full of powerful men looked at the floor. He could have stopped all of it. He was the most powerful warrior alive. One word from Bhishma, and the entire Kaurava scheme collapses. But he had sworn to serve the throne, not judge it. So he served a throne occupied by blind ambition and petty cruelty, and he called it duty. When war came, Bhishma fought on the wrong side, not because he believed in the Kauravas, but because his vow bound him to the throne. For 10 days, he was unstoppable, killing warriors he loved, fighting people he knew were right. Every evening he returned to his tent, knowing he was destroying the very people he had raised as children. Finally, when Shikhandi stood before him, a warrior Bhishma refused to fight because of a complex history between them. Bhishma lowered his weapons. Arjuna, his own great-grandson, fired from behind Shikhandi's shield. Arrow after arrow. Bhishma fell from his chariot and landed on a bed of arrows, his body suspended above the ground by the shafts piercing him from every direction. Both armies stopped fighting. Pandavas and Kauravas alike set down their weapons and came to pay respects. And there Bhishma lay, choosing not to die, not yet. He waited for the auspicious moment, teaching one final lesson about dharma, duty, and the cost of blind obedience. The greatest man in the story, destroyed by his own goodness. Here's the thing nobody says about Bhishma. His sacrifice was not heroic. It was enabling. Every time he stayed silent, while injustice happened, he chose his vow over his values. Every time he fought for a side he knew was wrong, he chose obedience over righteousness. The Mahabharata makes one thing devastatingly clear. A good person who serves a bad purpose is still part of the problem. Loyalty without limits is not a virtue. It's a cage. Next time you're about to sacrifice something nobody asked you to sacrifice, ask yourself, am I being noble or am I being Bhishma? That's the origin story of the Mahabharata's greatest tragedy.